Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chatham Select Board meeting of May 27th, 2025. I'll let the record show we started at 5:45 this evening, a little later than normal. I will read what I'm supposed to read pursuant to Governor Healy's March 28th, 2025 signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20, until June 30th, 2027. This meeting of the Chatham Select Board is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that persons who would like to listen to this meeting while in progress may do so by calling the phone number 1-508-945-4410, conference ID 203-386-491#, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link in the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access, and we will post a record of this meeting on the town's website as soon as possible. Mr. Nicastro is away on a much-deserved vacation, so I'm the chair this evening as vice chair. The first item of business is to establish a quorum. I will turn to my compadres here, and Mr. Metters.
Present.
Ms. Davis.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Present.
And Mr. Dykens is present as well, so we can declare a quorum. The next item of business are the minutes for May 22nd, 2025, our last meeting. A motion, please.
Motion to approve.
I'll second, but I have a point of order. The minutes read May 20th, and they read in the agenda May 22nd. So
You are on your game, Ms. Davis. Thank you very
On
much
my
for that
game.
correction. Any other corrections, edits? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Approvals. Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair says aye as well. The next item of business is public announcements and agenda item requests. I do believe we have an introduction by Mr. Berman. Please come forward.
Hi there, Greg Berman, your Director of Natural Resources. We wanted to take this opportunity to introduce Marshall Burke, who's the new Deputy Harbor Master. He recently retired after 20 years with the U.S. Coast Guard. He was offered the position back in December and just sworn in May 20th. Just a good example of good things worth waiting for. Let's see, his last 10 years were service on Cape Cod, including at Station Chatham, 2015 to 2019, where he had local surf rescue boat experience. And Chatham has done pretty well getting Coast Guard retirees into Deputy Harbor Master positions. So he's following some good footsteps. We're very excited to finally welcome him to Team Chatham.
Please. Jason, Marshall, welcome.
Thank you. Just like to say a few words. I've had the pleasure of knowing Marshall personally and professionally since 2015. Found him to be a very comparable boat operator, really good leader. Very fortunate to get him on board. So being a little bit familiar with that transition from the Coast Guard to municipal life, I think is going to shorten his learning curve quite a bit, and he'll make an immediate impact as far as our response out on the waterfront. He's familiar with the waters, he's familiar with our watercraft, and I think he'll make a huge impact right out of the gate. So, thank you.
Marshall, any comments? Say hi. Welcome.
Yeah, just no, I'm extremely happy to have the opportunity and to earn the position. It's something that I was kind of, when retirement was on the horizon, and you're looking for future opportunities. This was definitely something I was thinking about. So just very, very happy that all the stars kind of aligned and just, able to stay here and make a longer impact than being at a Coast Guard unit for, 4-year segments.
Well, yeah, it sounds like a win-win. Any comments from the
No,
select
just
board?
welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Well, you have a great mentor there in Jason, so have fun. You guys will do great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berman. Any agenda items?
No, just a little plug. We had a wonderful Memorial Day celebration yesterday in front of the community building, and we all were in attendance. And for anyone who was there, may have picked on the very subtle plug for Mr. Franz, saying that, you know, he has served diligently for many, many years, and he would very, very much like the opportunity to pass on his knowledge to another set of volunteers to help continue the celebration and traditions that he's put in place. We have, you know, the Memorial Day and the Veterans Day celebrations. So for anyone who is looking to serve the community, there are some openings. So I'm just going to follow up on Mr. Franz's plug that the volunteers are very welcomed and would be very much appreciated to kind of continue the work that he's put in place. So consider it, please.
Yes, thank you, Corey. Anybody else with an agenda item or Mr. Berman?
Sorry, one more quick announcement. You may have, or you probably will see these flyers out and about soon. This is a new community climate survey. So the town's Energy and Climate Action Committee has launched this survey, and they're inviting all residents, business owners, stakeholders to take a few minutes of your time to share your thoughts on local climate impacts and potential solutions. Your input will help guide future strategies to make Chatham more resilient in the face of climate change. And the survey is up and available on the Energy and Climate Action Committee's webpage and the town's main website under news.
Thank you very much, Mr. Berman. Anybody else in the audience here? An agenda item or announcement? Online, Ms. Gibbs.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Yes, currently, the select board, agenda item requests, are accepted within a month. But citizen requests are at the discretion of the chair as to whether they ever get on. According to Mr. Chairman Nicastro, I believe on the June 10th agenda item will be likely to remove all citizen requests, and then we will have to request them again. With the select board summer schedule, that will delay time-sensitive requests. When a citizen is making a request that should have rightly been requested by the select board, I believe you should do so. So it will get on the agenda. Two of mine are going to be removed. One of mine was to have Eversource come in and explain the 426 outage of 4,400 customers with their site not updated and no information coming from them. And it also included a need for an emergency preparedness staff person, a dedicated person to replace KZ, to post on town websites, on social media sites, and decide whether or not robocalls are necessary. We got absolutely nothing. I think I explained that. Everybody was texting, trying to find out how many people were out. I hope one of you will ask that this become an agenda item, since I think it rightly should come before the board. It shouldn't be up to citizens to have to point this out. The hurricane season is coming and winter is coming, and it comes every year. And right now there's no plan in place. So I would appreciate it if one of you would endorse it so it becomes a select board request rather than a citizen's request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gibbs. Anything else? Anybody else online? I see no one. Okay, we'll move on here. Our next item of business is a public hearing to consider a petition from NSTAR, doing business as Eversource Energy, to install one handhole, I'm not going to read the whole thing, a conduit to a customer-installed handhole, and to provide new underground service to the customer located at 351 Barn Hill Road. And I will have our clerk please read the hearing notice. Mr. Smith.
Select Board Public Hearing Notice. The Chatham Select Board will hold a public hearing at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, May 27th, 2025, in the large meeting room at the Town Hall Annex, 261 George Ryder Road, Chatham, Mass., and remotely via Microsoft Teams platform to consider a petition from NSTAR Company, doing business as Eversource Energy, to install one handhold 48 over H23-5A and 40 plus or minus 1 to 2 inch conduit in a customer-installed handhold 48 H23-5B to provide new underground service to a customer located at 351 Barn Hill Road. The public is welcome to attend in the meeting in person or participate via a link in the meeting's posted agenda. All interested parties are encouraged to attend, participate.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I think do we have Marissa online here from Eversource today? Marissa Jackson? Are you there?
Julie Longa's,
Julie-
Julie Longa's covering for Marissa today,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, please, yep.
Okay, so
What are we doing here? Yep.
Eversource is proposing 40 feet plus or minus of one 1 by 2 inch PVC conduit from a proposed Verizon pole, which I don't think that you've gotten that, that petition yet for, under Barn Hill Road to the customer installed handhole on the other side. The reason for this would be to install new 400 amp underground service for the customer at 351 Barn Hill Road.
Okay. Any questions from the Select Board this evening for Eversource? Okay. Okay, this is a public hearing. Anybody from the public would like to comment on this request for these conduits on 351 Barn Hill Road? I hear and see none, so I'll turn back to the board and entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, move approval of installing installing the whole, what is written in the hearing, at 351 Barn Hill Road. I'm not going to read the whole thing.
In a second.
Second.
Thank you very much. That's a motion and a second. Do a roll call. Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
And Mr. Dyken says aye as well. Okay, just a brief summary on our business agenda this evening. We have a proclamation honoring the 100th anniversary of Puritan Clothing in Chatham. Item B, under 5B, a consideration of a one-day alcohol license, we'll revisit either on June 10th or June 24th when we have a quorum. This evening, we'd have a couple of members that would recuse themselves, so we'd not have a quorum. So we're going to postpone that one. We are going to consider a letter of comment in response to the U.S. Coast Guard's proposal to change aids and navigation buoy removals by our Harbor Master Jason Holm, and public comment will be accepted on that agenda item. And then we have some considerations for board commissions and reappointments. One, nomination for Chatham rep to the Cape Cod National Seashore Federal Advisory Commission, Mr. Doherty, who has announced that he's no longer interested, so we're going to discuss his replacement. And then also the opportunity to appoint our Coastal Resilience Director, Catherine Ricks, as the alternate there to that commission. And then we also have a note to consider Select Board Representative to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees, i.e. Shireen. And then we have the town manager's monthly report. So not an overwhelming agenda, but no less an important one this evening here in the town of Chatham. First item of business. We have a proclamation honoring the 100th anniversary of Puritan Clothing.
Mr. Chair, no.
You need to ask for public comments on the business agenda.
Public comment, any public comments in the business agenda? Thank you very much. Any public comments on the business agenda? Okay, hearing and seeing none, we will go on to the proclamation recognizing 100 years of Puritan clothing service here in the town of Chatham. After you, Jill, why don't you tee it up and then give a little
Sure.
introduction?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we're very excited to recognize Puritan Clothing for their 100th anniversary in Chatham. And I don't know if Megan and you and Rick want to come to the podium there so we can recognize you. So Stuart, you were going to read the proclamation.
Our clerk is going to read the proclamation, and then we'll have a chat.
Proclamation for the town of Chatham, Mass, honoring the 100th anniversary of Puritan Clothing. Whereas on May 22nd, 1925, Puritan Clothing opened its doors on Main Street in Chatham, beginning a legacy of customer and community service that has spanned a century, and whereas the store was founded with a vision of providing quality clothing to all, including uniforms to the U.S. Coast Guardsmen stationed in town, and has become a cherished institution in the heart of downtown Chatham. And whereas for 100 years, Puritan Clothing has remained a family-owned business sustained through generations of the Penn family and is today proudly operated by cousins Richard and James Penn, with James' daughter Megan now managing the Chatham location. And whereas the continued success of Puritan Clothing is a testament to the dedication of the Penn family the hard work of its employees, and the loyalty of generations of patrons, all of whom have contributed to this enduring presence and reputation. And now, therefore, we, the Select Board of the Town of Chatham, do hereby recognize and commend Puritan Clothing on the occasion of its 100th anniversary and express our sincere gratitude to the Penn family for their steadfast commitment to excellence, community, and tradition. Furthermore, we encourage all residents and visitors to join us in celebrating this remarkable milestone and in wishing Puritan Clothing continued success for generations to come. Proclaimed this 27th day, May 2025, Chatham Select Board.
Well, congratulations, Rick and Megan. Nice to see you guys. Rick, nice to see you again here in Chatham. I have such fond memories of Benny Shufro, believe it or not, and then Harry Collingwood. It was a stalwart there for years.
Mr. Bellevue, too.
Yeah, Mr. Bellevue, absolutely so. It has been an anchor downtown, and a wonderful anchor downtown for our downtown and just for residents and tourists alike. It's been just wonderful to have you guys here in town. You know that. Off to Shireen.
Yeah, I also, I wanted just to note that I was surprised it wasn't in the proclamation, but during the rescue of the Pendleton, Puritan Clothing clothed some of the victims from that rescue and provided warmth and comfort. Some of the other things that are notable in my time doing any of the maritime festivals or sea fests that happened in town, Puritan played a major role in supporting a lot of endeavors and when it came to community celebrations. Also, your presence on the Chatham Merchants Association has been most noted as well. There's a motion in here. Is that something we need to do, or is that?
I'm sorry.
It says suggested. If there is, I mean.
Oh, yeah, please.
I move to issue a proclamation in recognition and celebration of the 100th anniversary of Puritan Clothing, and as related, the proclamation was as spoken.
For procedural purposes, I will second that.
You bet. We'll take a vote. Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
Mr. Dyken says aye as well. And Milton was on the Cape Cod Hospital Board for years. I knew him. He was a great guy. You guys have really been tied into the community, either in Hyannis or here, all over the Cape. So it's really wonderful. Wonderful family.
Well, wow. What can I say? First of all, I'm Rick Penn, part of the third generation. Jim Penn, my other principal of the company, unfortunately could not be here tonight, but his daughter, Megan Penn, is here. More importantly, is the manager of the Chatham store. And looking at your agenda tonight, you have a very busy agenda. For you to take time out of your agenda to honor us with this proclamation, it's just wonderful. We really want to say thank you. Not just my family, but all our employees. We also want to thank the town of Chatham. 100 years in the same building on Main Street, Chatham. The support we've received from the community is just amazing. We want to say thank you. We've always believed, you want to do business in the community, you must give back to the community. And we're very proud to have Megan not only being the manager, but also as president of the Chatham Chamber of Commerce this year is a great example of her commitment to the Chatham community. So on behalf of, again, our family, our employees, thank you, and we're honored, and we look forward to many, many more years together. Thank you.
Thank you. Back at you.
I just want to say thank you, everyone. I'm honored to manage the Chatham store. Most mornings I walk in town, and the amount of familiar faces at 8 a.m. when you walk by and say, hey, how's it going? The town really does feel like family. So thank you all, and cheers to another 100 years.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll drop off the proclamation, Megan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, item B is going to be deferred. Our next item on our business agenda is the consideration of a letter of comment in response to the U.S. Coast Guard's proposal to changes in aids to navigation and buoys, their removal. Harbor Master Jason Holm, why don't you come on up and brief us? We did get the letters that have been drafted, et cetera, but anyway.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. So when I first heard about this, and it was Dick Hosmer from the Waterways Advisory Committee sent me the local notice to mariners, I jokingly said, that must be old because we just went through this a couple years ago. I did read it and it in fact was new. To refresh everyone, I think most of you were here back then. 2019, they tried to do something very similar. At that point, they were just proposing the sea buoy as far as Chatham waters, but there was similar movement in adjacent waterways. And when I went back to review the minutes in that, the select board at that time had voted to reach out to the neighboring communities and kind of coordinate letters of support as far as refuting that effort, which ultimately the Coast Guard chose to keep in place that buoy. This one's a little bit different. It highlights four, in my opinion, very critical aids of navigation in Chatham waterways. The logic is, there's more modern mariners and modern equipment, which I think is true in a lot of cases, but I think anyone familiar with Chatham realizes that not every boater has GPS. They don't have updated electronics. And the physical buoy being there for people lost and disoriented in the fog to be able to listen to the sound signals of the two sea buoys, to pick it up on radar during low visibility. Those things I think are crucial for navigation. And our waterways are used by a variety of boaters. So I've drafted a letter myself in response, kind of highlighting things the way I see it from my view. The Waterways Advisory Committee has also submitted a draft letter for you to take a look at as well, as somewhat of a template possibly for an endorsement from the board to move forward with that. But I think that it's pretty crucial that we get a variety of opinion from the public. The only way that happened last time was through public outreach. And we've submitted correspondence out to our mooring permit holders. It's become a pretty hot topic locally. And we've gotten a lot of positive feedback from the boating public as far as wanting to put this in. It is on the Working Waterfront Advisory Committee's agenda. They did talk about it last time. They're hoping to try to schedule a meeting before June 13th, which this would be on the agenda, and hopefully vote for them to send a formal letter against it. But they did verbally, to each member, think that these were definitely worth keeping. So at this point, I'll open it up to any questions that you might have.
Sure, thank you, Jason. Shireen?
The board should definitely send a letter, and I would recommend that not only do we send it to the District 1, I think it was the first district commander, but also to Senator Markey and Warren, as well as our state legislative representatives. I don't even know if maybe it should go higher up the chain in the Coast Guard to the committee. I can't remember who oversees Homeland
Security.
But I think it needs better attention than just, our experiences working with the district have been wonderful to some degree, but sometimes ineffective. And I think the more we get attention from, let me just caveat that we have a good relationship with them, but I just think the more we get a political aspect on, a spin on this, the more attention it may get. I've had a great source of comfort coming up Stage Harbor and seeing those buoys myself in some pretty crappy weather. So I'd hate to see somebody else lose that.
Mr. Metters?
No, I mean, I know the waterways have talked about it, and Jason, you've been on top of this since day one. I'm so very supportive of the draft letters that you guys have put forth, yourself and the waterways. I'm sure what used to be Aunt Lydia's Cove will also weigh in. And I do think this select board should also weigh in, and I'm very supportive of Shireen's recommendation to go a little bit higher up the chain. And, again, we have a good relationship, but maybe we need to be a little bit louder on this one because it is so important. So I think collectively, everyone, as individuals chime in and send a clear message of how we feel. So I would endorse us moving forward with our own letter and be supportive of the letters that have already been drafted to go along with it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so the process for us, you think we're going to draft our own letter? You'd like, that's your preference?
Yes, and I think that this, maybe Stuart would weigh in on the letter and how it's written, work with the town manager and Kathy on that.
And I would add Bill Keating to that list as well.
Oh, Bill, yes, of course, yeah.
Sure. Jason, I assume, I mean, the Coast Guard goes through these buoy reductions every so often. We just dealt with this 2 years ago. Is this do you know if this is a first district alone, or is this throughout the country effort at the moment?
The notice that I had was that this is a first district commander initiative, so basically from New Jersey to Canada. If you go to the link that I put in the agenda, it's actually an interactive map that you can open up and see the buoys that are targeted to get removed. I mean, there's a lot. So I think you'll find a lot of support in neighboring communities. The harbor masters across the Cape are adamantly against this. For the novice boaters or non-boaters, this would be the equivalent of taking away all the street signs and just having people operate off of GPS. But it's worse because it's the water. You don't have marked lanes. I mean, these are the markers for the lanes. So, from a public safety standpoint, certainly extremely concerned about it. And as far as I know, this is just a first district initiative, but I can't be certain of that. I've only seen what was put out to us.
Okay. I mean, they're all important buoys. We use them all. I will say that, number 8 and the one off the Common Flats is real important locally. So I think that since it's probably a first district effort, as you point out, maybe we can coordinate with our neighbors, not only in the immediate area, but, perhaps throughout first district. Maybe our congressional delegation can facilitate that, but it seems like, because this is really, as you probably already know, this is just the beginning. They're gonna continue with the whether it's the reduction in the buoys, reduction in the capabilities of Station Chatham, which I'm not sure where that stands, that debate. But I think maybe even a larger regional effort to our neighbors to the north and to the south would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, buoys are really important. This is deja vu all over again, and Stuart's correct in that, but we've already seen them trying to erode their presence here in terms of search and rescue, and here go the buoys, and blah, 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 so on it'll go. So I do think we should draft a letter. What would you like to do? Would you have, assign it to Jill and her crew to draft, and then back to us? And I'm sure we have what we wrote before a couple of years ago. Let's see who the signatories, I would suggest that we see who the signatories were there. There was a long list of signatories.
Yeah, I mean, I have trust in Jill and working with Stuart to put something together on our behalf. I don't think it has to come back to the board.
Okay, yeah, fine.
I mean, a follow-up should, but
And
not-
signed by the entire board.
And signed by the entire board.
Go ahead, Stu, yeah.
Sure. One other thing that might be helpful, not only for any future debates we have about this, but a cost estimate on what would it take for the town. I don't know who else would do this, but besides the town, it's all within, at least these 4 buoys are within your jurisdiction. I know we don't have that capability, but we may have to sub it out, a price on the tackle and the buoys and might be something that we want to use, and maybe something we have to resort to if we think it's that important.
I can't even imagine the cost.
Yeah.
To try to replace these. I mean, it definitely would have to be subbed. The waterways that these buoys are in require a very tall buoy. These are 923s, most of them they're tall. And, we would have to permit them through the Coast Guard, ironically enough, if they remove those. And then I think the cost would be astronomical. I mean, the size of chain that's required for those to be footing it as a municipality would be extremely difficult.
Yeah, and we may have to consider, sorry, but just to follow up, we may have to consider, maybe it's a seasonal aspect. I think number 8 is just even subbed is beyond our capability. But the others, maybe seasonally we could do something with a smaller scale buoy. But something to think about is all. I don't need anything tonight, obviously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Stuart. I just have one stupid nit on the Pollock Rip Channel buoy, on your letter, Jason. This, I apologize in advance, but it says, known for frequent groundings, this area poses serious serious risks to vessels unfamiliar with the local terrain. I would just change the word terrain to waters, just with unfamiliar with local waters, that's all. Otherwise, I love the letter. I thought it was really complete and really meaningful. Okay, so this was an agenda item that was open to public comment. Anybody in the public that would like to speak to this issue, either in here or online? Anybody online that wants to speak to this issue? I don't see anybody. Do you, Jill or Kath? Okay. All right, well, thank you, Jason. We're going to be working on a letter, and we're going to tee it up and get it out there.
I appreciate it. And just as a reminder, June 13th is the drop dead date.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'd be willing to help.
Yep, good. All right, cool, thank you. The next item on our agenda is to consider nominations for the Chatham representative to the Cape Cod National Seashore Federal Advisory Commission. Now, this is really an announcement that Mr. Thomas Doherty does not want to be reappointed. So this is a solicitation for folks that might be interested in serving as Chatham's representative to the Cape Cod National Seashore Federal Advisory Commission. And then I think we would like to have our Coastal Resilience Director, Catherine Ricks, be named as the alternate, and I think we should tee that up and move it and vote it tonight unless anybody has any major issues.
No, as far as staff goes, I would be supportive of her continuing on that role. And then I know there's a couple names I have in the back of my head. I'm going to try to, knock on doors. But anyone who has an interest, it's kind of like, I want to say it's time sensitive, but there is some urgency. I'll actually let Kathy kind of maybe just kind of summarize that. But this is something we really do want to act on in a timely manner.
Yes, thank you. The current, Mr. Doherty's term currently is set to expire September 20th, 25. This seat, what the board is doing is submitting nominations to the Department of Interior for their appointments. So the federal government is actually the appointing authority for this commission to the Cape Cod National Seashore. So it is a bit time sensitive because of how all of that works and how sometimes that can be a little slower process than at a local level. So yes, the sooner we can get a nominee to the superintendent of the Cape Cod National Seashore, the faster that process can happen.
Oh, thank you, Corey, yeah.
In the
Corrine,
interim,
yeah.
should we move to
I'd like to, yes.
appoint Catherine Ricks as the alternate member of the Cape Cod National Seashore Federal Advisory Committee for a 2-year term expiring September 20th, 2027?
In a second.
I'll second that.
Good. Take a vote. Mr. Metters?
Aye.
Ms. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Dyken says aye as well. Thank you very much.
Are we at all going to be chastised for it says in their letter, 30 days from the date of this letter, the date was January 7th. Is that why we have to move quickly, or?
I've been in touch with the superintendent and we've been emailing back and forth, and along with Chair Nicastro. So she's aware that we're in the process. So if it,
We're good, great.
Just for procedurally, the gentleman just notified us
yes.
within last week.
It took a little time to get a response, then we got the response, we were moving forward, got it scheduled, then he withdrew. So, yes, and I will convey that to her tomorrow as well in my transmittal of the nomination for the alternate.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item is to consider our representative to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees. We did discuss this in terms of our appointments, our liaison appointments at our last meeting. I think we want to formalize Shireen's appointment to the Affordable Housing Trust. There is one, you'll recall Article 58 allows us to have one select board member, and we did think that Shireen would be the best, obviously the best candidate because she's been there and knows what the heck's going on, so.
As a note, both my term is up June 30th, and former select board member Shell's, obviously, he's no longer select board. With the legislation pending approval with the state, I think it would be only right that we just honor what the town voters wanted to do, rather than appointing 2 people, just appoint 1. And I'm happy to serve if you'll have me.
Totally agree. So I'll take a nomination, please. A motion.
The motion or?
Motion, please.
Motion. I nominate Shireen Davis to serve as the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board of Trustees member, representative of the Select Board.
I'll second that.
Thank you so much. Okay, we'll vote. Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Ms. Davis.
I'll abstain.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And Mr. Dyken says aye. Thank you very much. And our final item on our agenda this evening is the town manager's monthly report. Off to Jill Goldsmith. Welcome, Jill.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item was a notification to the public as a reminder that we did do the Memorial Day observance yesterday. And I think it was one of the best that I have attended since I've been here. It was really personal to Chatham, and I thought it was, Mr. Franz and Mr. Miller did a phenomenal job, so I thought that was really great, and you were all there to see it. I also, in the report here, note the summer schedule, the summer meeting schedule. Our meetings will start at 5 p.m. on June 24th, and that will go every other week through October 14, 2025 at 5 p.m. So the board needs to call a special meeting in between. You had already indicated that you would have no issues with that. And then, as I normally do, I have the years of service anniversary. This is for June. One of our longest serving employees, Diane Langlois, she's our department coordinator in natural services, has been here for 37 years. Tim Hunter has been a firefighter for 25 years. Our Brian Powers, our beloved downtown highway laborer, that everyone is so appreciative of his services. He's been here for 20 years. Our Chief Justin Tavano, fire chief for 20 years. Sue Frederick Campbell's been our recreation coordinator for 18 years, and today she was the head chef for our employee appreciation barbecue, which was really fun to have over at the community center. And then I don't want to skip over anyone, but just to be brief, Chris Vardakis, I think he started out in the harbor master's department, went to the fire department, EMT, and is now a sergeant in our police department. He's like the superhero of public safety, and we're really appreciative of him. And just moving down many, 10 years, 6 years of service, we have our own Kathy Lewis, who's been the executive assistant for 2 years, so time goes very quickly in Chatham, so I want to congratulate everyone for their years of service. And speaking of congratulating our departments, it was National Public Service Week last week, and I know not everybody is on social media, so we grabbed a post that Shauna had done recognizing the staff and the team in our facilities, highways, parks, grounds, and cemeteries, transfer station, and water and sewer. And then a reminder to employees, because I know it's this time of year when people are getting back into town or noticing a lot, so if there's any public works requests for grounds maintenance, trees, anything, we have a link on our town website that people can access or access to it directly through the link I provided in this report. And then you have met and been introduced to Marshall Burke, our Deputy Harbor Master, and here's a really great picture of our team when he was sworn in. And you've also met Catherine Ricks, who you just appointed as our Coastal Resiliency Director, and all the good work that she's done. And then we have a few other positions that we're recruiting for, with Catherine getting promoted. Her position of Assistant Conservation Agent is now available. And then we're also hiring our first engineering technician. And then in the report, as you will see, Kathy's indexed some spotlighted items that the public's very interested in, as well as you, and the various page numbers for the housing initiatives down to the wastewater construction project. And then Chatham TV's done a really great job helping us prepare for annual town meeting, and they did some tidbits and video shorts for the seasonal communities designation and the annual town meeting prep show. And they were instrumental to the success of our annual town meeting logistically, and it was a really great turnout by the voters, as well as the work of staff. So social media here is very important. You'll see that our numbers are increasing thanks to the great efforts of Shauna. And as always, I have the emergency notifications, Smart 911, for people to register for, as well as the Notify Me. So happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions or comments for Jill?
Just a good report, Jill, always.
It is an excellent report. In terms of the Memorial Day event, I said after it, I thought, I agree with you. I thought it was one of the best ones we've ever had, and I said to myself, how are we ever going to replace Bob France, because he did such an excellent job. He really did. Heartfelt, and so did Ted Miller. Yeah. I thought the naming of the names was really, really unique and very moving. It was good.
Yeah.
It was excellent. I also want to, I watched Ben Sacco mining quahogs and oysters on backstage the other day. It was wonderful. Really, some really good programming on YouTube online with respect to the town of Chatham, so really nice job there. So that's what we've got. Anything else for the town's business this evening by the select board? Okay, a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to adjourn, sorry.
In a second.
I'll second that.
Okay, Mr. Metters.
Aye.
Ms. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Smith.
Aye.
And the chair says aye. Good night, Chatham. Thank you.
Thank you.